I realize that I am living perhaps my entire existence through my mind. I'm observing, acting, judging everything through my mind. There is something in me that realizes that I am not that, but it's almost completely polluted by my mind and all the stress. Is it normal that when the being is awakening, the mind becomes stronger, creating so much stress and confusion and failure and suffering? Am I identifying with my mind? Yes, yes. So, I realize that I am living perhaps my entire existence through my mind. I'm observing, acting, judging everything through my mind. You need the mind to do all these things. My mind seems to be becoming stronger, separating me from life. If it is separating you from life in the sense that it leaves you as only the weakness of what you call life, that life is simply unfolding apparent events in consciousness. If it's separating like this, to say that I am not that, this is momentary appearances, that I seem to have a temporary being, but that temporary being is moving about in my permanent being, then this is okay. There is something in me that realizes I am not that good, but it's almost completely polluted by my mind and all the stress. It is not polluted, and that is never polluted. But the pollution seems to come because you are identifying with all of that. What is appearing for you? The pollution is happening to your idea of yourself, which is not the truth. That pollution is happening through the mind, and you are the weakness of the mind. This you have to be clear about it. Now she asks, is it normal that when the being is awakening, the mind becomes stronger, creating so much stress and confusion and failure and suffering? Yes, it tends to happen like this. Somehow we have been living under the dominion of our conditioned thinking, conditioned mind. We, when I say we, I'm referring to we, you, I, as consciousness only. And somehow we have forgotten this. And we are identifying with aspects of ourselves, which is the body-mind, which are there. And somehow, as soon as the game is coming to a point where you are catching hold of what it's all about, who you are actually, then it is as though the mind comes up with fierce resistance, big trouble come, a lot of noise, lots of doubts, fears that you're going to be destroyed or annihilated or something like this. You have to be aware of this. And I'm here now making you aware that this is all part of the unfolding and part of the undoing of the mind as well too. That it comes up very strong like this, don't think because the mind is growing more strong. It's on its last breath, actually. So sometimes they say when the fire is going out, the smoke is very big. Too much smoke, no fire. So don't worry about it. It will happen like this. Don't try to rescue or get entangled in that mental noise, emotional noise. Don't identify. Let it be. Leave it be. And it will completely become quiet by itself if you don't interfere. If you interfere, somehow this involvement energizes that mind activity, and then you'll feel like it perpetuates it somehow. So you forget all about it. Let it happen. Don't take responsibility for that. Finally, you say, am I identifying with my mind? Yes. What you've written here is all the outcome of identifying with the mind. I don't say this harshly to you, because all are doing it. We all do it for a while. But there comes a point when it is enough. The mind itself initially is like a looking glass. It's like looking through a glass out at the world. When you look out through that glass of the mind, you see all the objects in the world is there. But when you are ready to see yourself, that glass becomes a mirror. And then you're not seeing so many things anymore. Everything, every which way you turn, you're getting some reflection back onto your own self. And this identifying with the mind, with the past, with intention, with objects, with time, with relationships, all of this will cool down. It will be there, but in a much lighter way. So I hope you have you've gotten something from what I've said about this. For a while it seemed it is the destiny, in the play of the existence, that the consciousness will come under the jurisdiction, the influence and the hypnosis of the mind and conditioning. For a while. And it's only to this extent that human beings differ one from another. To the extent, the degree of the conditioning and the identification with the body, mind and ego. But you are coming out of this, evidently. There is something in me that realizes this. You say that I am not all of that stuff, but it's almost completely polluted by my mind and all the stress. It is not true. It appears to be. It appears to be because you are still in identification. When you cease identifying or limiting yourself to the body-mind functioning, this statement will vanish for you. The ego can only attack you while you limit your identity to the body-mind functioning. If you're not limited yourself just to the body-mind functioning, but stay more as the weakness of them, the ego cannot trouble you. Okay. So, thank you.